What's the haps? I'm Maroka, and welcome to WildStar Walks. We're here in Touchdown Site Bravo, on the surface of Farside, the moon. See, there's Nexus up there. Nexus is in the sky now instead of a moon. We're actually on the moon mission. I'm not sure whether is it Farside? Is the moon called Farside, or are we on the far side of the moon? I'm never quite sure on that one. I should know my lore better than that. Anyway, yeah, we're kind of in a big old crater. And we need to go explore this big old crater. I'm going to try and go for a wander around the edge of it. I'm going to walk, we're going to talk about things, we're going to talk about life, the universe, and everything. And some other stuff along the way. So, this is going to be, what am I going to call this one? A Farside Frolic? That's a really difficult one, actually. I always try and come up with some kind of alliteration. And yeah, I've been through the thesaurus. I usually do. There's no good words that alliterate with Farside that sort of are on the walking, hiking, strolling, exploring, climbing kind of theme that I can think of. Frolic is literally the best I got. If you got a better one, I will gladly accept it. Does anybody know anything better than that? Can anybody come up with a better one than that? I don't know. Have a ponder. Ponder it. I shall ponder it. I don't think I got anything better. I have already pondered it. I'm not going to ponder it more. At any rate, we're going to go for a lap around the edge of the crater, or as far as I can manage in the time it takes me to talk about all the things. And we'll just see where the day takes us. How about that? So, tend to kick things off with WildStar news. Oh, asteroid heading this way. I don't see it. It's probably okay. Probably no big deal. Yep, there it is. No. That is a group event that requires, I think it's recommended like 10 people. I've done it with 2 before. I have done it with 2. If you're around the level for this area, sort of mid-30s, yeah, they're low 30s. Yes. You start at mid, end up kind of high, start low, end up kind of mid-30s throughout the zone. Yeah, if you're around that kind of area, you can get some nice gear out of that, I think. But I did that once. It's one of those things that's actually kind of hard to find people willing to do it, because it's a leveling zone, it's not a high population zone, really. So, yeah, that's a thing that happens occasionally. We're just going to let it crash into the moon and wipe out all life on the surface of it. Whoopsie. Anyway, this structure going up here is a settler thing, and you can't get around it, which I'm going to kind of demonstrate, I suppose. Because I have done my research and wandered around this, and this thing's been going up for a little while now. I don't know how long these things take to build, because I've never been a settler. But apparently, if you can manage to force yourself into one, yeah, like here, if the slope kind of takes you into the building, it just kind of throws you out. It's like, no, you're not supposed to be here. I don't know anywhere else in the game that does that. Normally, you kind of get like soft kill zones, or, you know, invisible walls, or stop you one way or another. They wouldn't normally just say, nope, we're gonna pick you up and we're gonna move you. So that one's new. I don't know what's going up. Some settlers building something exotic. Good for them. I'm gonna go explore, because that's what I do. Anyway, news. News was what I was about to talk about. In the news, we have new stuff in the store. We have a Krogan Bowl, I guess, is what that is. I'm not sure what that is. It looks a lot like a Snarflinx. Yeah, it is. You got a Krog in my Snarflinx, you've got Snarflinx in my Krog. That's probably how it happened. I don't know the lore of these creatures, or even indeed what a Krog is, actually. Snarflinx is the big yellow cat that you see people riding around on. I don't know what a Krog is. So we got those 2. Ooh, that one's expensive. Oh, that's for all your characters. It costs that much for one of your characters. I can afford that, just barely. I don't want it though, but I could if I wanted it. So yeah, that's a Krogan Bull thing. That's pretty weird. So that can be purchased with Omni coins, or what was it, about $12 dues? I think it's dollars, actually. The N coins, I'm never sure on the currency conversion on that, or even if they even bother doing currency conversion on that. I know that they're pretty much analogous to either dollars or pounds, and I can't remember which it is, and it might be both. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing the whole, currency conversion, what currency conversion kind of thing that some devs want to do. At any rate, yeah, I think it's like £12 gets you 1,200 coins, or, well, they won't sell it in those increments. I'm sure it'll be like 500 or 1,000 at a time or something. But Yeah, £5, 500 coins, I think, roughly, is how that one works out. So for £12, you could have yourself a Krogan Bull. I'm going to try and climb up to the edge of this. This is a tricky one. I had some issues with this already. It's a lot easier on... yeah, definitely a lot easier on hoverboard. There's no trouble on hoverboard. I'm sure it's doable on foot. But I need to be really pretty careful about what I'm doing here. Come on. Stay on here. Stay on course. Yes. You can do it. 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 No. Failure. I wonder if inserting my jetpack jump somewhere into the middle of that would probably help out somewhere. That might actually help me get up this one. I also don't know if there's actually a better way up. This might just be... I might just be taking a stupid way up this hill. But once I get up here, we can kind of go for a wander around the crater edge, which is less populated because there's less stuff. It's clear it's not the main questing zone, so there's not going to be enemies and structures and things going on all over the place. It's going to be a nice quiet place where we can talk about things. Speaking of talking of things, what else we got? Speaking of talking of things, you can remember to leave me questions and topics and things to talk about in the comments below. Some of you did last time, I appreciate this. If you got something you want me to talk about on a WildStar walk, do so in the comments and I will talk about it next month. I can scarcely talk about it this month, because I will not know until this video is up. But yeah, first of the month is, as ever, when I try to make these things happen. Can I just walk around here? I think I can just walk around this. Yeah, I can. Oh my god. Right. And then this one? Come on. Oh no. This is going to be a tricky one. This might be a tricky one. This might be a thing I need to use it. No, my jetpack jump did not. My jetpack jump failed me. This has never happened before. Uh-oh. I'm going to fall! Oh. You know what? I might hoverboard this. I know I can do this. Look, I know I can. But... never let it be said I'm not one for cheating. Because I totally am. Alright, come on. Hoverboard. Do me proud. Alley-oop. I literally climbed right to the very top of this level. I found like a stupidly tall structure that goes miles and miles and miles into like the stratosphere. I will post a picture. I got a screenshot of the top and I will post that on Twitter, I reckon, actually, just because I was like, that's pretty cool, actually. The fact that you could, just by a little creative jumping, climb your way to the top. So there we go, now we're on foot again. That's how you're supposed to do it. That's how it's a little easier to do it, certainly. Anyway, yes, things to talk about. I have not that long been back from PAX East. I got back on Wednesday. I was utterly destroyed on Thursday. I was more or less with it on Friday. Then I went out drinking and got myself a hell of a hangover, and then I've been feeling rough again today. So that's where my week went. How are you? At any rate, PAX East. PAX East was fun. PAX East was a lot of fun. It always is. I would not go and spend quite as much money on it if it were not. Always good to catch up with people, catch up with the Indie Mega Booth folks, see some cool new games in the Indie Mega Booth, and yeah, see the sights, sounds, peoples, smells, tastes of Boston and whatnot. Speaking of peoples and tastes, Sir Joe Mirabello, Tower of Guns guy, introduced me to an incredible chocolate place over in Cambridge. That was really friggin' tasty. They make like, almost no... You know what, I need rid of this. Yeah, there we go. Almost a kind of an oxymoronic kind of product in that I guess it would be best described as being an iced hot chocolate, which everyone's just like, what do you mean, an iced hot chocolate? How does that work? It can't be iced and hot. Well, no, it's not, but if I just said it was an iced chocolate, you'd look at me like, what are you talking about? What exactly is an iced chocolate? Did you take a bar of dairy milk and stick it in the freezer for a bit? No. They take up, basically, as I understand it, the Americans are far more fond of their iced drinks than the British or probably any other culture seem to be. And yeah, they took their normal standard principles of making iced teas and iced coffees and were like, hey, let's just do this to a hot chocolate. Except they made it with like real chocolate and it's like incredible. I couldn't tell you what it was called. I can't remember what it's called. I'm absolutely going to have to pester Joe for a reminder on what it was and where it was next year. So, yeah, that's Sorry if you were hoping for a tip-off on where the best chocolate place in Boston, Massachusetts is. I cannot give that information to you because I am a derp. Okay, I gotta go around the back of this thing, right. I almost would have been better served just waltzing through the camp, wouldn't I? There is the little downside that this is kind of a dummy camp, and there are probably some high-level guards in there that will spot me and kill me. Level 60 Prime, yeah. That guy, who is a 40-man raid with 51 million health. I'm good, but I'm not that good. I'm not taking on a 40-man, 50 million health boss guard myself. Okay, you know what? I'm fine with let's slide down here. This is where I wanted to go, right? I think this is where I wanted to go. Can I get around? I can't get around there. Right, let's hope nobody sees me and shoots me for 5 trillion damage in one shot. I don't think there's any guards too close. How big are they? They're pretty big. Yep. 46 million shields, 51 million health. Ouch. No, not going near it. I feel like a 40-man raid would still have a tough time with that as well. I don't know, though. Most raids aren't even geared for 40-man in this anymore. Balance most of the raids around 20-man, because 40-man is stupid. Which is something World of Warcraft learned a long time ago, let's be honest. They were like, yes, 40-man doesn't work. Let's just balance everything for 25 and 10. 10 is a good number. 10, a smallish group of people can make work. 25 requires some coordination. 40 is stupid. Oh, I'm PvP flagged because I wandered through an enemy camp. Whoopsie. Let's hope nobody big and nasty and skilled in PvP wants me for dead. Because that won't be fun. Can I get round here? Oh yeah, we can get across these rocks. I do believe that will take me up here somehow. Again, I did it with a hoverboard before, so we're gonna see how well this serves this time around. How on earth did I make this happen? Okay, I can walk up a vertical surface, so that's convenient. I won't deny. There are a few surfaces that are just weird for climbing in Farside, actually. This is definitely one of them. Ready with a jetpack? No, I don't need a jetpack. I probably need a jetpack here, though. Right, come on. Jump, and a jump, and a jetpack jump! Yes. I have nothing in my walking rules against using jetpack jumps. It's a staple tool of my adventurer's arsenal, so yes. Anyway, what else did I see at PAX East? We could talk about games that I saw. I did a video on Orion Trail, which is Oregon Trail in Space, which was kind of fun, and my first ever experience with VR, which didn't really sell me on VR. Admittedly, it was the Samsung Gear VR, which was not the epitome of VR technology, but nonetheless, it was more VR than I've ever experienced before. Yeah, it didn't make me go, ooh, I must go and buy an Oculus today, here and now. Or Vive, or what have you. Maybe I need to actually use some Oculus and Vives and, you know, see what the technology is actually capable of. But as it was, that was kind of a fun little, ooh, I'm sat at the helm of a voxel art spaceship, and I'm the commander. And this is very pretty and a pleasant experience, but yeah. For starters, it would require a very expensive phone, and secondly, it would require a chunk of hardware that would tack another cost onto the top of it. Admittedly, I don't think the gear is actually all that expensive as far as equipment goes, but God knows the phone is, so it's more than I'm typically willing to pay for phones, the new cutting-edge Samsung stuff, so I don't tend to go down that route. Yeah, what else have I played? I'm going to glance to one side at all the things that I'm supposed to be following up on. Gurgamoth is a fantastic little brawler. Button Mash is going to be exhibiting at Press Start in Leeds next week on the 7th. So I think the plan is to bring Gurgamoth to that, because it seems like a really cool party game that, you know, it'd be good just to get people sat around playing. Certainly the dev grabbed me a couple of times because I was volunteering with Mega Booth, and he was trying to set up games of people wandering around, and there were just a few occasions where he's like, hey, we need a 4th person for this game, you there, come play this game, and he just grabbed me every time, and I'm like, oh okay, alright. He's like, oh, you must be getting good at this by now. I was like, no, I'm really, really bad at it. Fun little thing though. You play it's a cool art style. You play some weird shamanic kind of dudes who can fly around interesting arenas, and you have like a slammy dashy ability which you slam and dash into each other, and you can't outright kill each other, but you can knock each other around the arena and try to kill each other with environmental hazards, which is always fun. Yep. Now I need to remember how I make this work. 1 and a 2 and a jetpack jump might make this work. Oh, come now. Ah. Well, at least this one doesn't set me back as far if I don't make it. Let's see. I guess I need to get like as high as I can possibly manage up the hill before I start jumping. That might work. That might just do it. Yes. Oh, that might not do it. Why? I have a really bad habit of dashing when I absolutely do not in any way, shape or form need to dash. Ugh, I hate myself. Right, is this gonna work? That might not work. We can do this, we can do this. I swear to God I can do this. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun little party game, Gurgamoth is excellent. If you're looking for something with online multiplayer, Gurgamoth is not what you're looking for, because as is the problem with so many wonderful little party games on Steam, the devs are just like, yeah, no, that's really hard to learn how to implement netcode and really expensive, so we're not gonna do that. It's like, you just made a PC game that's multiplayer when you didn't let anyone play online. Do you not see the problem? The thing is that literally every one of them does see the problem. They're like, yeah, we get it. We don't know how to do it, and we can't afford to find out how to do it. It's just, you know, it's too big a task compared to making the game. That's all right, but making netcode work, that's one of the biggest hurdles in game dev, and kind of unfortunate that a lot of great games are just held back by the fact that, yeah, no online multiplayer. Flinthawk is a fantastic little game. It was described as being a cross between Mega Man and Bionic Commando. I'm not familiar with either of those. I played 20XX, which is basically Mega Man, I guess. But I'm not familiar with Bionic Commando. At any rate, you are a little dude, I guess. I don't quite know what the character's supposed to be, who has a grappling hook and can grapple around the arena, and a gun, and you can shoot things around the arenas. And occasionally you get into boss fights and cool things, and it's all procedurally generated, roguelitey stuff. And it just plays really, 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 really well. Just the grappling hook mechanics and combat and stuff, you can just like whip, 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 zipping around the arena just with this little grappling hook, just like ching, 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 bouncing off all the things around the arena, jumping around, shooting things. And it's like, this is really fun and really fluid and really well polished. These mechanics are just so solid. And it's kind of got the, you know, your standard retro pixel art style that everything does, but hey, it's a nice style. If you do it right, it looks good. They've done it right, it looks good. It's a style I like. So that's a very nice one. Jenny LeClue is... oh yeah, that's something I should probably cover on the channel, actually. That's something I meant to do, in fact. That will be coming, I guess, some point over next week. I was like, I need more PAX content. Jenny LeClue is something I'll have a look at, because they have a demo on their website. I'll play through the demo. Jenny LeClue is mostly, I would guess, really just say a point-and-click thing, but the art style is gorgeous on that thing. It looks like Discourse, if you remember Discourse from Alchemy Labs, and I adored the style of Discourse. Discourse did a lot of other really interesting things as well, but I adored the style of it. Jenny LeClue, I had to stop and ask them, it's like, is it the same artist as who worked on Discourse? Because it's a very, very reminiscent art style. And they're like, oh, no, that's the Alchemy one, isn't it? Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's the one. I was like, no, that's not us, but yeah, I see what you mean by the art styles. So I was like, okay, fair enough, I guess. Just two artists with similar styles, sure. Why not? Fate Tectonics. Fate Tectonics is... I stopped and watched a few people playing this. I played this for a while myself. It just looked really chill as anything, to be honest. Little world-building strategy-ish thing. They give you 5 minutes to build as much of the world as you can out of randomized tiles. put bits of land, bits of water, cities and things down, and then when the time runs out, Armageddon happens, you need to destroy everything, and depending on what you've achieved and accomplished in that time, they will add time to your timer so that the next run you might have, like, oh, you've got 10 minutes to build as much stuff as you can, and I guess eventually you keep making progression and progression and progression by replaying and rebuilding and destroying the world over and 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 over again. Eventually you get to some kind of conclusion, one would imagine. I don't know, I feel like it's the sort, I think it's the sort of game you could just sit and vegetate and just play that, and you just stick some YouTube videos on the other window, or, I don't know. That's probably what I would do. I would just like, I don't feel like doing anything today, I'm going to sit and play Fate Tectonics and put some YouTube videos on the other window. That would work for me, that would be great, I like that. I don't think it's on mobile devices, but I feel like it would work well on a mobile device as well. It's one of those things that, like, hey, I've got my lunch break, or I've got a commute, or something. I've got 10 minutes to sit and build a world and then smash it up at the end of it. That guy looks big. That guy looks really big. How big are you? 17,000 health big. Not very big. I mean, size big, I guess. Not very intimidating, though. You don't scare me. So that was good, that was good. Indie Mega Booth had some nice surplus stock at the end of it that they gave to the volunteers, so for our events we have acquired a astonishing amount of Xbox controllers, Mad Catz Pro Gaming controllers, which means that if you come to our events you're going to have a lot more Xbox pads to play things with, I guess. Well, certainly you get a lot of use out of them at Leeds next week at our events. I don't know, just having stuff like that around makes me want to do more silly things there, like build arcade cabinets and stuff, because I'm just like, I'll just stick some gamepads in there. So, we'll see where that one goes. I'm not rightly sure where I am in the world right now. Where am I? I'm down here. Okay. And I've been talking for 20 minutes, apparently, which means I have made nowhere near the progress I thought I was going to make. That's wonderful. Amazing. Something did come up a few times at PAX, and I had been musing with for a few weeks beforehand, is that just, if you have any interest in my channel whatsoever, you might have noticed, I don't know, I've certainly noticed because I pore over these numbers like an obsessed person. Basically my channel has just slowed down to not great things over the course of the last 6 months or more. A lot of that could arguably maybe be attributable to my quitting covering Spiral Knights, which was the core content on my channel. Maybe. At any rate, at my peak I was getting, this is like a year or more ago, at my absolute peak, this channel was growing by about 130 subscribers a month. Just before I quit Spiral Knights, I was still gaining about 60 subscribers a month. The minute I'm down to about 20, just for some reference points there. You go onto my analytics page, there's a lot of red triangles pointing downwards that say, yes, this number is down over last month. So, these are not fun numbers for me. I like it when there's green triangles everywhere, and less green triangles than I would like to see. I don't want to change up my channel content because I enjoy what I do here, but it's clearly not working for people. I don't know what people want to see other than Spiral Knights, and I'm not doing Spiral Knights because there's nothing to do in Spiral Knights, because I have done literally everything in Spiral Knights to death. I am not playing that game, but at the same time, clearly my audience doesn't engage anywhere near as well with just indie game Let's Plays or even indie game critique, and it's a shame because indie game critique is clearly the main love of my life right now. I do like doing that. So I've been toying with the idea of live streaming instead. I'm like, well, what if I were to go become a live streamer? I mean, Twitch is obviously just as competitive, and if I were to get into Twitch, I should have started doing that 4 years ago when I started doing YouTube, because it was starting to get competitive then, just as YouTube was. And now, quite frankly, both marketplaces are redonkulously saturated, and it's really hard to get a foothold in either. I did talk to a Twitch rep at a mixer that I sort of slightly blagged my way into that was mainly intended for game developers, but I was like, there might be useful people to talk to in here, and it turned out that two of the people who were bankrolling the whole affair were Twitch and Chrono.gg, so I was like, yeah, this is actually good for me, because I would love to talk to Twitch and Chrono.gg. The Twitch rep was just like kind of, I basically leveled with it. I said exactly what I've just told you. I was like, I've been doing YouTube for 4.5 years now. Not really going places as much as I would like it to. What saith you? What are your thoughts on the matter? If someone were to say, hey, I've got 4 years worth of video making experience, actually what I'd like to do instead now is change to do streaming, is that a viable option? Would you say go for it? And he was like, yeah, sure, but yeah, you're gonna have to build it from the ground up, obviously. You can post things on YouTube to engage your audience, but yeah, Twitch is a different beast. And consistency is the main thing. I mean, that's what people will tell you about YouTube as well, is if you want to do well on YouTube, be consistent. Well, I've been consistent for 2 years? 4 years? 4 years. I've been consistent for 4 years. And that's not really done me all that much good, so who knows. I'm going to have to drop down here because I want to grab that elevator. If I were on a hoverboard, I could jump over to these pipes, but that's not going to be viable on foot. But there's this little elevator coming down here that I might be able to snag my way onto. If I were running, no, I could get there. I can't. We're gonna have to play some elevator music and wait for it to come back down. At any rate, so yeah, I might. The problem with live streaming is fitting it into my schedule around. So videos are great because you can schedule videos. It's like with packs. If I know I'm going to be away for a week, I can make a bunch of Slime Rancher content ahead of time. I can just sit down and play Slime Rancher for 3 hours, turn that into videos, and have them all scheduled to go out over the course of a week and a half or so whilst I'm, AFK. That works really well, by the way. If I were a live streamer, well, how could I do that while I'm away? I can't. Life gets in the way of live streaming, unfortunately, which has always been kind of one of those off-putting things. Like, if somebody's like, hey, do you want to hang out this evening? Do you want to go grab a drink? If I've got video going, I've got my video scheduled, I'll be like, yeah, sure, that's fine, yeah, let's go to a pub, have a pint or two, that's fine by me. And yeah, if I was like, oh no, I've got a live stream, if I've got my live streaming schedule says I've got to sit and play games for the internet for 2 hours tonight, suddenly I feel like streaming hurts your social life more than video making does, which I'm not big on, to be honest. In terms of platforms, as I say, Twitch is a incredibly saturated one. How big is this guy? He's looking at me. He's not that big. Yeah, as far as platforms go, Twitch, it is incredibly saturated, and I got introduced again through Joe Mirabello of Tower of Guns fame. To another Joe, in fact, Joe Hills, a YouTuber, which maybe some people might be aware of. It was a name I had heard mentioned, because I subscribed to Vex from the Minecraft guys, and I know he's done some stuff with Joe Hills in the past, and Joe Hills has played like a bunch of his like challenge maps, the super hostile stuff. So I'd heard his name in reference to that, so when he's like, oh, Joe Hills had trouble with this bit of the map, Joe Hills said this about this bit of the map, oh, I remember when I was playing with Joe Hills, the name had come on, I was like, I have heard of this man. So it was kind of cool to meet not a face I was familiar with, but certainly a name I was familiar with, so that was pretty neat. So he was espousing the virtues of Beam.pro quite heavily. I was obviously familiar with this platform from Hopathlon, quite frankly. When I pitched in with that last year, I recognise it to be a good platform. My concern with it has always been the same as literally any other competitor to Twitch, which is anybody using it? Do people watch on Beam? But apparently they do. I mean, I put this to my patrons recently on my Patreon page, which you should go check out at patreon.com/buttonmash, and yeah, a couple of them were just like, yeah, Beam's a really good service. You should use, if you do live streaming, you should use Beam. I was like, oh, okay, so people who watch my content and engage with my content most heavily are already interested in Beam as a platform, so that's something. And it seems like a lot of other people kind of are. A lot of people are looking to it as an alternative to Twitch. A lot of people don't like Twitch for various reasons. There's been various things Twitch have done and said and been involved in the past where I've been like, ugh, I'm not a big fan of the people who run the service. I'd rather not be involved in their platform if there was an alternative. My attempt at using the alternative has always been YouTube. Whenever I've done any live streaming, it's always just been, I'll just use YouTube since then. So the problem with that is YouTube have done literally nothing to promote their service or drive people to use it. They're doing nothing to entice people onto the platform. Twitch is innovating super heavily, and they're pushing devs to innovate super heavily on things on their platform. They're really actively encouraging and investing in devs to make content with really heavy, like, not just Twitch integration, but not like, oh, type a hashtag in chat and something will happen to the streamer. Like, literally game show type stuff, playing with the streamer stuff, which is kind of cool. My concern is that other platforms don't have that, which is like, if I want to use another platform, I'm throwing away all these really cool games that I don't have access to. The thing Beam's doing as its selling point is it's just zero latency, pretty much. You stream to Beam, I think it's 200 millisecond delay on the video on that, which is insane. Twitch is like 30 seconds at least. I'm sure YouTube's comparable. YouTube's just doing nothing. It's not doing anything innovative like Twitch is, and it's not doing anything new technologically speaking like Beam is. There's no real incentive to use YouTube unless you're already on the YouTube platform, which I am, so the only selling point of that is I have access to my existing audience. So I don't know, I think if I go with one, it probably will be Beam, because, as I say, I'm not a big fan of Twitch. I mean, I would love to be able to play stuff like, I still don't remember the name of it, what the heck is it? Proletariat Inc. Google Proletariat Inc. You'll find what they're doing, but they're doing a game that involves, it's kind of a third-person action platformer-y thing that's kind of Hunter and Hunted meets Pac-Man. It's designed from the ground up for streaming, and I played that at PAX, and that's actually a pretty good little game. But if I was to do it on Beam, I wouldn't be able to do it on Beam. That's the problem, because it's not designed to engage with the Beam interface. It's designed to engage with Twitch, which is the major problem with all this. So, I don't know. Leave me your thoughts. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, do you want to see me go down the streaming route? Would you be interested in seeing button mash live streams? Because it's something I'd be interested in doing. Low gravity space jump. Woo! It's weird that the jetpack jump kind of seems to ignore low gravity, but I get that would be... Imagine that would be an interesting one to try and code, I suppose. It's a lot easier just to say, player moves along this trajectory at this speed, rather than saying, oh, player's trajectory is affected by low gravity effects, which is like, oh god. Brain melting on the coding, what the heck. So yeah. I have one question that I will answer, which is from Alivai, who says, I don't play WildStar, but since Arcterra has arrived, how do you think companies should handle game expansions, packs, DLC, etc.? There have been many instances of good and bad methods used by companies either wanting to give game more content to make it more enjoyable, or just leech off the wallets of the players for minimal increase in content. I think Arcterra is definitely on the good end of content. It's an expansion, isn't it? Arcterra is basically, well, it's more like a mini expansion, I suppose. An expansion is something like World of Warcraft Legion, or Warlords of Draenor, or any of the others. They're expansions. It's a massive chunk of content that adds a significant amount of new life to the game, overhauls entire mechanics, changes everything up, and they charge money for it. That is an expansion, and, I think they're right to charge money for that. I think that's fair to charge money for that amount of content, that's okay. But WoW's business model just kind of doesn't work for, like, literally any other game at this point in time. Nobody else can get away with charging subscription. WildStar tried it and failed. WildStar, their big expansion was WildStar Reloaded, which was their jump to free-to-play, in which they overhauled a crazy ton of mechanics and stuff. All the gear stats, if we have a look at this, where everything was critical hit chance, and we got all this was like really obtuse. Whereas if you look on here, strike through, critical hit severity, critical hit rating, all of those, you know what they do, and it tells you what they do. Previously it was stuff like grit and moxie and finesse were your stats, and those stats then had effects, and they all had different effects depending on which class you're playing, and it was a pain. And when I was trying to sell something on the auction house, I was like, I have no idea what these stats do for other classes, so I actually have no idea how valuable a lot of this gear is as a piece of equipment for a healer or something. Say I've got a piece of light gear that's designed for a healer. I have no idea if finesse is good for a healer or not. Is it? It might be good for one healer, but bad for a different kind of healer. It might be really bad for both healers. I actually genuinely don't have a clue here. This is the trouble there. So, I'm glad they overhauled that. That was a good overhaul. I suppose when you're looking at bad stuff, we might be looking maybe at lockboxes, perhaps? Could we be looking at lockboxes? I think we're looking at lockboxes. Or prize boxes, certainly. That's fine. I mean, clearly they add cosmetics to the game and try and sell them through this, but it can't be your only kind of content. That's literally... it's literally our artists had a bit of downtime, and they're the easiest... That's the easiest way we can put new content in the game, and we can try and ask players for money for it as well. They don't have to buy it. There's no obligation to buy it, but there you go. It's just a quick bit of money in the pockets, really. Which is why, when that's literally your only content source, yeah, you can see why players would be annoyed with it. So, I mean, I think employing both methods are viable. I mean, I don't object to cosmetics, but most games are going to have cosmetics at the end of the day here. It's just it can't be all that you do. It really can't, because it's no bueno. I don't know how I get across this rock. I think I had to use a hoverboard for this before, actually, all things considered. I might just do that. Let's cheat this one. Come on, cheat. No? No hoverboard? No bueno on the hoverboard. Alright, I guess I don't get to use a hoverboard. Fine. Let's see what we can do for getting across here. Jump. And a jump. That's not going to work. I guess we're going to have to try and climb this rock. Huh, okay. That's fine. I may just wrap things up around here. I mean, I think that's mostly that question answered. I'm having trouble thinking off the top of my head what other kinds of expansions there are. I mean... Awesomenauts always kind of does kind of a bundle of stuff every so often. They've very recently done another one which is like, here's like 5 new characters and a new map and stuff, but you have to pay $5 for it or so, which once again is on top of a base paid product, which some people are like, well, hang on, we already paid for the game, so why are we paying for more stuff? Because you're getting a lot of stuff. I mean, again, you don't have to buy it, but you are left without those characters, whereas a lot of the characters can be unlocked in-game, I think, without paying for it normally. So these expansion ones, you're like, you're locking content, which ain't great, to be honest, from a player perspective. Alrighty, let's see if I can use a hoverboard here. No, I can't. He's not letting me use that hoverboard. I think I'm stuck on top of a rock. I don't think I can get to that without a hoverboard, and I don't know why it's not letting me have it. Let me reload my UI. Let me see what that does for us. Because I feel like I've had issues with that before. Nope, it's not that. I think there is a bug. I've definitely had this before, and I think I have to quit the game to make it happen. So, never mind. I guess I'm stuck on top of a rock in a spacesuit. This is, by the way, that's not a very practical spacesuit, is it? I am far too exposed to the vacuum of space for a spacesuit here. I should be dead. Anyway, I've been talking long enough as well, so yeah. I think that'll just about do it for today. So if you have questions and comments and things, tell them to me in the comments below. Give me questions for next time. Let me know what you think about live streaming. Don't ask me where the chocolate place was. I can't remember where the chocolate place was. And do you have any thoughts on the monetization strategies of free-to-play games and expansions and things? I think they should give you a lot of content and charge for it appropriately if it's a significant chunk. That's my stance. It's nice when it's a free chunk of stuff that's like, when it's a big chunk of stuff and it's free, but you can understand from a developer's perspective, you kind of want to make some money out of that. You got to make money at the end of the day, otherwise the game's not viable, and then it won't exist. So that's simple facts of life. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I have been Maroka. This has been a Farside, I don't know, Frolic, I guess, and I will see you next time.